Have you ever had a bad haircut?
Yeah.
What did you do?
Well, you know when you, well, I'm a hairdresser, so I get a lot of bad haircuts.
So you go home to Barry and you're like,
Whether
fix this.
I do it myself, no, that's where I got a bad haircut. And no defense on him, it's just because we don't cut each other anymore because we'd go to jail. But we don't cut each other's hair because it's like that 45-minute grooming period of nothing.
Yeah. I've cried.
Well, you cry.
I've
a
cried.
lot.
I've worn wigs.
She still wears wigs and she still cries, so it doesn't matter about the bad haircut. But was it a bad haircut or was it just a haircut you didn't like?
I don't know. Let's find out. Here we go on The Pretty Truth, guys. What to do when you get a really bad haircut.
Yes. Welcome. So you kind of watched the commercial, the preamble to what we're going to be talking about. So did you ever have a bad haircut?
Or bad hair color.
Or something went haywire? Or was it just that you didn't like it?
Yeah, there's a big difference between getting an actual bad haircut and then maybe just not liking it.
Okay, so let's do something fun. This is kind of impromptu. Why don't you drop in the comments that yes, I've had a bad haircut, or yes, I didn't like my haircut. And then, we'll kind of I want to feel it out. I want to kind of see where that's going to go.
So how do you tell the difference? Like if you're a client at home, how would you be able to tell the difference between an actual bad haircut or just, it's not necessarily bad, I just don't like it?
Yeah, and a bad haircut meaning one side would be longer than the other, or the back of your head was shaved and you didn't want it shaved. That's just lack of communication.
My favorite is layers by numbers. Like when people come in and they're like,
they go
I
layer
want
number 1.
6 layers. And it's like, if you're asking for layers and numbers, you've never had a blended haircut.
Yeah, and it's not like we're trying to say, hey, don't come in here and give us suggestions. We want you to.
Oh, absolutely.
I think the key point is bringing pictures that look like the haircut that you want, not the model that's in the picture.
Yes.
And to get a bad haircut and it's kind of devastating, and for me at least, that if someone said that they got a bad haircut and when I know it was a really great haircut, it's just that maybe I didn't communicate on how to work with it, or I don't know. How do you handle it?
I had a client a few years ago where she had a graduated bob, like a stacked bob, and I know that I did a really good job. It's one of my favorite haircuts, so I know I executed it really well. We talked about it beforehand. According to her, I cut it way too short. She started crying in my chair. She demanded extensions. But I know it wasn't a bad haircut. So I had a hard time with that because I didn't feel like I had cut it too short. And I know that it wasn't a bad haircut. But it got extensive. Like her husband called and
Well, and here's a
stuff.
perfect example is maybe the communication would be it on, and we as the person behind the chair,
Yeah.
we have to kind of take ownership and own it and not have such an attitude. And you need, as a hairdresser out there, if you're not listening and you just take it upon yourself to do something a tad bit different
without even consulting.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, hairdressers do, we're people. We have bad days. We have stuff at home. We've got, bills to pay. We've got stresses. We've got things going on. And so I am never going to say that we're ever omitted from having a bad day where we maybe cut someone's bangs too short or gave them bangs and we weren't supposed to give them bangs.
I think it would be great that, we were actually working in an environment to where if we're having a pretty crappy day, we kind of have the ability to kind of have that day a mental health day, because he doesn't want to, we don't want people in our chair if we're not going to be 100% laser focused.
Yeah.
And again, you're not always 100% laser focused, and sometimes it's that client who is just not sure what they really want, and then you try to do that, and then you go ahead and do it, and it's a great haircut, but they hate it, they cry. But you have to remember, and we have to remember that that one person's going to tell hundreds of people.
Yes, so you guys are a walking billboard. So I know that when I've messed up in the past, I gave a lady bangs and I didn't mean to. And we had gotten into talking and I just was doing my thing and I wasn't paying attention because we were talking about something pretty intense. And the next thing I know, I said, oh my God, I gave you bangs. You did not ask for bangs. I am so sorry. I gave her 50% off. And then, wouldn't you know, a couple weeks later, she came back for a bang trim because she ended up liking it. So that worked out in my favor, but don't think that that was the first time that something like that has happened to me personally.
So I think without like getting too off topic, so like, again, it's one of those things that I've had really crappy haircuts, and it's because it's whether I was in the salon where I was working and I had someone cut my hair and it just wasn't what I wanted, and I'm probably one of the hardest people to please. That's why I go outside just for the experience to just sit in another salon and kind of see what goes on and how they work. And I like who does my hair. I used to have my husband do it, and he doesn't do it anymore because we just fight too much. And I love everyone here, and I think everyone's brilliant. I mean, beyond talented. But I'm that person who, yeah, and it gets personal, and I don't want to not like something, and then all of a sudden I'm just like, you know, and you don't.
Stuck in the environment.
Yeah.
That person. Sorry, I keep
But
cutting him off.
no, you're not. But like, just, you know, I just have like, if I was getting like my typical, like I have really curly hair, and I'm not sure where I want to go with it, and I always ask people's opinions, and if I cut it shorter, people will say, oh, I love your hair short, better than I like it long, but if I leave it like this, they like it like this. So.
Yeah.
You know, I have my instability, but I've had my handfuls of really shitty haircuts. But then there was the one time I think I had a really cool haircut. I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
But it was a great haircut.
Yeah. That's how I feel right now. I feel like I have a really great haircut, but I styled it today. I pulled out like the 90s version of myself, and I was like, I feel like I'm gonna flip my hair out a little bit and see what happens. So I feel like it looks okay. It's not my favorite, but I don't think it's my best.
So
look,
as you,
but it's not bad.
As you tune in, like, please drop in comments, like, have you had a bad haircut? Raise your hand.
And what
But
made it bad?
Yeah, what made it bad? Why did you not like it? And like, real
Don't
quick-
tell us who did it.
No, I don't
tell
care
us
who did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, you know, we want to kind of close that gap between hairdressers and customer and clients to where just make sure that you guys are communicating 100%. I think it comes down to the communication.
I have a policy for my clients, and I know my clients out there can vouch for this. At the end of every single appointment, doesn't matter if I've been doing your hair for 10 years or 10 minutes. At the end of every appointment, I say I give everyone 2 weeks. If there is anything that you don't like, if there's anything that's not sitting properly, please let me know. I am not a mind reader. The only way I'm gonna know is if you tell me. And so, you know, I have like, my sister-in-law will call me and say, oh, I didn't like my haircut this time, or I'm just using her as an example. She hasn't done this, but like she'll call me and be like, oh, I didn't like my haircut, but you know, I'll just have to deal with it. No, you don't just have to deal with it. Like, what do you do when you buy a shirt and you take it home and it doesn't fit right, or you don't like how it looks? Like, you take it back. You don't just sit with it. You don't just live with it. You take it back because you don't like it. So you're not doing your hairdresser. I am. You're not doing any hairdressers any favors if you don't tell them.
No,
Because
you gotta.
you're not going to refer them clients. You're not going to talk about how great they are. You're just going to talk about like, it was okay. I didn't really like my haircut. And then there's reputation spreading for that stylist. So if you call them.
Yeah, I mean, like
And
my
let them
thing,
know.
I love Nicole's thing is the 2 weeks. We give 2 weeks. I give 2 weeks. I say,
Yeah.
listen, if you don't like something, even if for any minute, and I've had people feel comfortable enough, you got to make them feel hairdressers out there. You have got to make your customers feel comfortable enough to come back to you and say, I didn't like this. And you got to cut your damn ego out.
It's true.
Leave your ego at the door because you are behind that chair creating people. And it's a bunch of personalities, but you have a bunch of personalities within you because I know I do.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, if I get that, you get that gut feeling, and if you're really in tune with that person, and you're like, wow, they didn't like their haircut, I know they didn't, and you feel good because they called back and said, hey, there was just this couple pieces that I'm not sure about. And I always tell people too when they're leaving, I said, if you get home and there's anything that you don't like or you can't blow it out, come in and I'll watch you blow it out. I'll
Bring
take
your
the time.
stuff.
I'll take the time to have them come in with their stuff. I think
Absolutely.
you have to do that because this day and age, you know, you can't buy a haircut on the internet. You could buy clothes, you could buy products.
You could try to watch a YouTube video
You
and
can,
cut it yourself.
you can try to watch a YouTube video and cut it yourself, and like good luck with that. But
Yeah.
you're never gonna get that expertise that paying the price and $75 is what we both charge for haircuts.
Because that's what's competitive with our area.
It's a competitive situation, but that's $75. That's an hour that you're in my chair, and I'm going to do everything I can to make you love that haircut.
Everything. And if you're seeing a stylist who's not doing that, then you might want to think about searching for another stylist. Because let me tell you, there is no stylist out there that's above a bad day. There's no stylist out there that's above making a mistake. We all make them. I've
Yeah.
seen my biggest like the hairstylists that I get starstruck over. I've seen them make mistakes, and it's kind of rewarding because it makes me realize that they are human too.
Yeah, we're
You
not
know?
like some.
Yeah, so let's
just-
talk protocol on what to do when you get a bad haircut or bad hair color.
Here's my personal suggestions. This is what I would want my clients to do. If they didn't like something, first of all, if I did something that I didn't like, I would never let them leave. I would say to them, listen, there's a couple of things in this color or in this haircut that I'm not really thrilled with for you to leave it. Step up, step out of your own crap in your own way,
Yeah,
and
call yourself out.
and fix what the problem is. Don't ever let a client walk out with something that you're not 100% pleased with.
True.
And how I, as a customer, I think I would want my customers, or I think is a customer paying, a consumer paying for a haircut or paying for hair color, go back to them.
Or if you don't want to go back to that stylist specifically, because one, you may not want to hurt their feelings, I understand that. Or two, you just didn't like what they did so much that you don't want to see them again. Instead of complaining about, oh, I just lost money or whatever, which is also understandable, try calling that salon, asking to see someone else, maybe on a day that your stylist that you saw isn't there, maybe seeing a manager if the manager or owner is a hairstylist.
But here's the key, not to interrupt you, but I am going to
ahead.
interrupt you. Here's the key. In our space, we don't make anyone feel like they can't
No.
call. If they don't want to see the stylist that they worked with, we here are all like, we have an environment to where it's okay. Not everybody's gonna like Don, not everybody's gonna like Nicole, not everybody's gonna like Brooke, not everybody's gonna like, if they didn't connect with them and like everything they did and they wanna come see somebody else, they're gonna come see somebody else and we're gonna be okay with that. We're still gonna walk up to that customer and say, hey, I'm so sorry things didn't work out. You're in great hands.
Yeah, it's true. We just want to see you back at our salon.
We just want you to come back.
Yeah.
We don't want you to feel that you cannot come back here because we've had a situation. I just had a situation where someone had gotten her color done. She hated it, but she went to somebody else in the space when the other person wasn't there, and they were friends, and she had this almost like a vindication. So no, we have nothing like that. If you don't like something, and sometimes guys, make sure you know what you want and make sure you're communicating well enough to where so you can't always just blame us. Sometimes it's the consumer who wasn't sure, and just you just have to kind of feel that out. I don't want to get into the old,
Well, also, people have such personal relationships with their hairstylist. I mean, we know about your kids, we know about how many divorces you've had, we know about every single dog that you've bought, adopted, had to put down. We know so much intimate
lot more than sometimes
facts
we don't
about. We know so many intimate facts about your life, and we're so grateful for the business that we have and the clients that we have, and the fact that we get to have those personal relationships with our clients. However, at the end of the day, this is our job. This is a business, and so I feel like there are so many times when clients feel guilty. I feel guilty if I don't see Chelsea, or I feel guilty if I don't see Nicole. They've been doing my hair for so long, and I haven't liked my hair for a long time, but I feel bad leaving them. So you're gonna sacrifice and have hair that you don't like just to make your friend happy?
Yeah, I mean, guys, it's people. It's up to us to keep ourselves get
Educated.
bored quicker than you get bored as a customer
Yeah.
and a client.
Yeah.
I want to get bored before my client gets bored. So yeah, I've had clients for a very long time, and there's some people who will move on, and that's cool. And you know what? And sometimes they come back. So maybe it was just that lull in the schedule.
Yeah.
We don't want it. Don't feel like you have to stick with
Yeah.
a stylist or a colorist because you have to. You don't have to do anything you don't want to.
You don't
You have to have that conversation.
And you don't even have to have an explanation. Just be
No.
I just felt like it was time to
Give them
change
the
it up.
opportunity to change it up and to see if they'll do something different because you get used to doing the same thing
Over and
all the
over
time.
again, yeah.
And when you as the customer are out there telling us, hey, we want to see something different, and we don't do something different, then that's our fault.
Yeah, I also can tell you because I'm very into education. I know there's a lot of stylists out there who may not have time to educate themselves as often as they would like to. But you gotta hairstylists, you need to prevent yourself from getting stuck in a rut so that you're just giving your clients the same thing over and over and over and over again, to where your chair becomes quantity over quality, because that doesn't create a great experience for your client. But also for me, if I go to take a class and I learn a new haircut, I can think of 5 clients right off the bat that I know that style will look great on. And when they come in, I'll say, hey Jackie,
Still yelling.
I'm always yelling. Hey, I get excited. Hey Jackie, I just learned this really great haircut and I think you would be perfect for it. Here's why. And go through the reasons with that client, like why I think this style or haircut would be great for them, because I know them. And sometimes they are open to it and sometimes they're not quite ready for the change. But at least they know that I'm thinking of them and that I'm always trying to, like, you know, keep in the works for them something different if they want it.
Yeah, and there's days where, like, yeah, I mean, I agree with that 100% when we constantly have to reinvest in ourselves to make ourselves better and stay in line. As you know, I look at myself, been in this business for a long time, like 33 years. And
that's longer than I've been alive.
Whatever, she's 36. I reinvest in myself in these last couple of years and coming into I said coming here in January of 2000 this year. 2000 this year.
2000 this
it's
year.
like I was just talking about this today with some of the girls, and like it's like I got to reinvent myself, and I'm doing things that I haven't done in a long time, and like really stepping out of my comfort zone and stretching myself. And that's what I'm putting out there, and that's what we want to educate everyone here when we sit in classes and we do the education here. We want to stretch them. We want to make them feel more confident and step out of their box. So
yeah.
I think our key thing is with a lot of this is like, you know, what is the difference between a good haircut and a bad haircut? What's the difference between good hair color and bad hair color?
What's the difference between an actual bad haircut and just not liking it?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to is it could be so many different reasons of what good and bad and good and bad.
These could be the best oysters I've ever had. I don't like oysters.
Yeah, and you know, it's just going to take that, I think, the communication.
Yep.
The open line of communication. And you know, just know what you want when you go in.
Yeah. So, I mean, on that as well, to come to a close, we want you to know that there's probably going to be a couple questions to expect when you call and let the front desk or manager know that you're not super happy with your service. A few of those questions are, okay, so you received a haircut that you're not so fond of. Did you get it done here? Did you get it done at this salon? If the answer is yes, okay, did you want to give the stylist that you saw another opportunity to redeem themselves, or would you feel more comfortable seeing somebody else? So think about that. Also, if you're coming from a salon, if you call and they ask you, did you get it done here, and you say no, just know that you're probably going to have to pay for a new person's services, so that you are.
I mean, that's pretty obvious.
I know, but
here it's like if you're within our airspace, and we're hoping that we're reaching other hairdressers, that you guys know that if someone comes back for something that they're not happy with, you take care of it. If they're coming back and they want more of something that they want more color or more additional stuff, then there's going to be a charge.
That's an add-on, yeah. When someone says, oh well, I wanted more highlights. Okay, well, we gave you as many as we possibly could within this visit, but once again, that's communication. And we talked about it might take multiple visits for you to get as light as you would like to be, or you know, we talked about going shorter gradually rather than just like from here to here. So there's, once again, that's on the hairstylist to make sure that you're communicating your needs, your wants, your desires, and also the realities of what it's going to take to get you those specific ones.
So what it comes down to is, before we end this, is that, like, listen, if just know the difference between a good and a bad haircut. Maybe it was a haircut that you didn't like. It may not be a bad haircut. It may not be bad color or good color, but you know, at here, we're guaranteeing you that you're gonna love your service when you leave, and if you don't, we'll do everything we can in our ability within our space to create what you really love, because that's what our goal is, and that's what everybody's common goal is to go out there and kind of just get what you want and not feel like you're gonna get you're overpaying for something you didn't love.
Yeah.
You gotta love what you get, and I think that's pretty. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. So guys, thanks for tuning in today. I hope that today's episode was helpful for you and a little insightful moving forward. If you are one of those people who've unfortunately had a bad hair experience, and I think it goes for all of us,
come see us.
Come see us here at a new salon and spa in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. We are at 1571 Fruitville Pike, Suite 1.
1571 Fruitville Pike, Lancaster.
All right, we'll see you guys next Wednesday. Peace out.
Licorice. Hey, it's giveaway time.
So as promised, last week we asked you guys to share, comment, tag in the comments about our video from last week, and
we had
winner.
boat yodes. boatloads of people who shared it.
Yeah.
And the winner is
Of our purple
purple
1 1/4 inch barrel curling iron is
Cynthia Gleason
Cynthia Gleason
from West Covina, California.
California. Cynthia, thank you so much for sharing and for your love and support.
Yeah, and listen, when you get this, you better tell everybody where you got it from. Promote the pretty truth.
And you better not use 450 degrees.
No, you can't. All right.
Yes, so thank you so much, Cynthia. We'll be in touch with you to get all your info. We'll be sending this your way shortly. Thanks for your support.
Peace out, guys.